This is how you turn a $50 bet into $20,000 in 1 year. In this video, I'm going to show you a step-by-step guide on how exactly you can do that. Everybody can have access to betting $50 a day. Your average sports bettor bets $100 a day. So if you have anything less than $50 a day that you are dedicating towards betting on sports, it's most likely you're just doing it for recreational purposes. But even with recreational purposes, you still want to know how you can gain an edge and actually make money. So I'm going to show you step by step how you can take a $50 unit size and you could gradually build that up to a $20,000 bankroll in 1 year. So let's jump over to the whiteboard and I'm going to show you exactly step by step how we're going to get that done. So let's talk about the first thing that you need to focus on. Number one is going to be establishing that $50 unit size. So you need to understand, to have a $50 unit size, your bankroll should be anywhere between $2,000, $2,500, $3,000, in that range. Okay, because if it's not, if you have 500 bucks, you shouldn't be betting $50 a bet with $500. You need a bankroll because you need to withstand some of the ups and downs that's going to happen throughout doing this process. So you got to make sure you have the right unit size that's correlated with your bankroll. And like I said, below $50 per bet, the only problem with that is the type of bets that you're going to be doing. Most people aren't satisfied with them, so it's very hard for them to stay consistent because you will be making a smaller amount of money, even though, like I show you in this video, gradually long term, you could turn that into pretty big growth. Some people just aren't going to be satisfied with it. So I found a median to be about $50 per bet to where you could start and still be satisfied from the beginning all the way to the end. So let's get to step two now. Step two, you're only going to bet plays that have a high probability percent. Okay? You have to understand that you're not betting plays that are minus 110 that have a 50-50 chance at winning. You're not doing that. You are betting high probability percentage plays. These plays are going to fall in that category minus 170, minus 270. Now, they need to correlate and have the right probability percentage to line up with these odds. Yes, they do. Because you can't just go randomly firing minus 170s, minus 270s in that range and think you're going to win because they're high probability bets. Because they might not be high probability bets, even though their odds dictate that. So you have to have the strategy in place to know exactly how to identify those high probability percentage plays. Now, if you want to learn exactly the strategy to plug and play and see exactly how to come up with those high probability plays, click the link down in the description. It's that simple. I'll show you exactly the strategies in every single major sport, how to do it. So that way this step two is just pretty much a copy and paste for you. Now, let's talk about this right here because this is very important. There's going to be no parlays at all. You're not parlaying whatsoever. We're not going to parlay. Even with high probability parlays and whatnot, we're not doing that. We're going to stick to straight bets. That's it. 100% straight betting. That's all you're doing. Taking your unit size, you're adapting to the bets that you're putting in that are high probability percentage plays. That's all you're doing. You're not taking 2 minus 270s, 2 minus 170s, 2 minus 200s, 3 minus 250s. You're not doing that. Okay? Regardless if the parlay can still be a high probability percent at a high odds, you're not doing that. We're going to stick to just straight up, straight betting. Now let's get to number 3 here. You want to establish a goal, because if you don't establish a goal, you're just willy-nilly in it and you don't really know what you're going to be doing. All right? So your goal should be about 10 units per month. That's 10%. Okay? Should be about 10% if you're doing 1% unit size and you land at $50 a bet. All right? 10 units, that's a good range to be able to reach for. Sometimes you might not get up to that 10 unit mark. Maybe you'll fall a little bit shy. Not that big of a deal, okay? But it's a goal for you to set. You might as well set your goal high so that way you have a chance to get there rather than setting your goal low and you go above that and you keep going. Next thing you know, you decrease and lose units and stuff. So 10 units is a good goal to aim for. As for your win percentage, you want to aim between 70 to 80%. Now, I know a lot of people are going to look at this. A lot of people in the comments are going to be like, that's impossible. You can't do that. You can't win at that rate. I've been doing this for 5+ years, hitting in this rate right here. And I've showed you guys in other videos exactly how I've been able to do that. So this is 100% possible. This is where you want to aim. Because when you are betting plays that have higher odds, you are betting plays that have higher probabilities. So if those probabilities stay consistent between that 70 to 80% range, guess what? You are going to hit 70 to 80% of the time. As long as those odds are not astronomical, obviously. That's why I say you have to correlate your percentage with your odds, because it's very important. Because sometimes you'll find a minus 170 play that has a 75% chance of winning. And that right there is a pure edge. So if you find those type of plays, you adapt those plays and you have yourself an edge. You find a minus 270 play that doesn't have a probability of over 70%, then you're probably not going to play that. Okay, but playing probability plays between 70 to 80% is going to hit 70 to 80% of the time. So it's 100% possible for you to be able to reach that mark and to reach this goal. This right here is a basic goal. Okay, it's not a crazy goal to be able to reach, and it's not low. It's a basic goal. Everybody, if you do the right thing and you have the right strategy in place and you know exactly what to bet, you should be able to somewhat fluctuate around this goal here each and every month. Now let's get to number 4. Number 4, you want to be able to compound your profits into your bankroll each month. So, for example, if you start the month with a $2,500 bankroll, let's say you make $500 in that month. Well, then your bankroll is $3,000 to start the next month. So then what do you do there? Your unit size is no longer $50. Your unit size would be $60 if you did 2% of that $3,000. It'd be $60, and then so on. You know, as you're making and progressing, you're compounding that money into your bankroll. So just understand, it's very important to compound your profits into your bankroll each and every month. Because if you don't do that, you're not going to be able to get like crazy growth throughout the whole entire year. You'll get steady growth. It'll be small. You'll still get growth, but you're not going to get exponential growth to where, like I said, you could turn a $50 unit size into a $20,000 bankroll within the year. And I'm going to show you guys exactly why that occurs and how that's possible to be able to do that month by month as well. Once we get to that later on in the video, I'm going to show you guys month by month how that exponential growth goes just because of this right here. Just because of step 4, because you're compounding your profits into your bankroll. Now let's get to number 5 here. Step 5, this is one of the most toughest steps for everybody. And I'm just going to be honest, it doesn't sound tough, but it's tough for every single person that I've ever worked with. Staying consistent for 12 months doing this. Now you see I have it highlighted here. This is the toughest part. You would think the strategy is the toughest part because you can't figure out how to win 70 to 80% of the plays that you're putting in. That is actually not the toughest part. The toughest part is staying consistent, because regardless of anything, whether it's sports betting, just anything in life besides somebody going to work every day, because they do that and you stay consistent doing that, going in and clocking in every day. But with anything else, it's very hard for anybody to stay consistent for an entire year doing it. Even when you see the results coming and the profits coming in sports betting, you start to get a little bored, because now you've won. You know, you've won the game. You're winning constantly now. You don't get that feeling of chasing because you don't know what you're doing, which is a feeling that a lot of sports bettors occur constantly. They're always chasing that feeling of like, how do I win? How do I win? Once you figured out how to win and you're consistently doing it, it starts to become a little boring, because now you kind of expect, you know what to expect. You know what's going to happen. You know, I'm going to win this certain amount of time. I'm going to make this certain amount of money. So they become bored and they don't stay consistent. They start veering off and doing other things and doing random stuff. Next thing you know, they put themselves in a hole where if they would have just stayed consistent throughout the whole entire year, they would have made a consistent profit and they would be successful. So this is the toughest part. Number 5 is the toughest part. If you could stay consistent for 12 months with the right strategy in place, the right unit size, the right bankroll management, combine that all together, you will be successful and you could do exactly what it is that I'm teaching in this video. If you can't stay consistent, all the rest of the steps are meaningless. They're all meaningless, because you could win and know the right strategy and stuff, but if you don't stay consistent, you fall off the wagon, guess what? You're going to end up losing money. Because what happens is, even if you learn the correct strategy, what happens is some people get a little greedy and think a play has like 90% chance of winning, so they load up. Put 10, 15, 20% on that. Then so happens maybe it loses. Now they're down in a hole and they're trying to dig themselves out of that hole, which you can't, because it'll take forever to dig yourself out of a hole of losing 20, 25% at one shot. So staying consistent with the right management, with the right everything that I taught you from those previous steps, you will be successful, but you have to stay consistent. Number 5 is the most important and the toughest part to be able to withstand. But I promise you, if you can stay consistent and you know exactly the strategies that are in place, and like I said before, if you don't know the strategies that are in place, make sure you guys click the link in the description so I could show you guys exactly how to come up with those high probability plays that you could plug and play into this plan, so that way you can make money year to year rather than donating your money constantly and making them donations just like everybody else that you know and that I know in the sports betting industry do day in and day out. Now let's get to a breakdown, like I said, of the month by month, how this works and how you're going to come up with $20,000 from the beginning of the year towards the end of the year. We're going to say that you start out with a $2,500 bankroll. Okay, $2,500 bankroll. Month 1, we're going to say you made $500. Okay, we're going to say you made 10 units, $50, 10 units, $500. So your new bankroll is $3,000. What we're doing here, 2% there, going to be a $60 unit size. Going into month 2, you make 10 units again. That's plus $600. Now your bankroll is $3,600. Again, that 2%, 36 times 2 is 72. $72 unit size into month 3, make 10 units, $720. Now we're at $4,320. Same exact thing here, guys, 2%. Going into month 4, we make $860. New bankroll is over $5,000 now. You can see, starting to get the gap, starting to get bigger and bigger as we roll down the list here. Let's get to month 6. Let's move on a little bit. Plus $1,240. This was all starting off with $50 bets. Remember that. So now in this month, you make $1,240. Your new bankroll is $74.40. And then month 7, we're starting to really see some growth here now. We make almost $1,500. That gives our new bankroll in 7 months $89.20 from $2,500. Okay, because like I said, you made $500 in that first month. So just think of those gains right there. That's crazy gains just right there to begin with. Turned $2,500 into nearly $9,000 in 7 months. But like I said, this is why consistency is so important. Because if you weren't consistent here, these numbers don't line up, none of these numbers stay true, you're all over the board. Who knows what happens if you don't stay consistent knowing exactly what you're doing, and do that for 12 months. Now let's round out the rest of the year, because now you're going to see exactly how that growth, when you're compounding, really starts to get going. Let's get into month 8. Month 8, we made $1,780. Look, now we're into the 5-figure range here. We're at $10,700. Month 9, we're making $2,140 here. This is a steady amount of money to be making in a month. All right, that's steady right there. $2,000 a month. You started with $50 bets, so $2,140 you made. Your new bankroll is $12,840. Now we're really getting going here. We're starting to grow by like $3,000 almost every single month. So let's get to month 11. We'll skip month 10. Month 10, we'll go to 11 here. This is where we reach that $3,000 profit range. That goes into our bankroll, and now it's $18,480. We're nearly at that $20,000 mark in month 11. So obviously, we get to month 12, what's going to happen here? We're surpassing that $20,000 range, right? We make $3,680. New bankroll, $22,160 in what? Month 12. So it took us 12 months to take $2,500 into $22,160 by staying consistent, having the right strategy in place, winning 70 to 80% of the plays that we put in, regardless of the odds, if they were minus 170 to minus 270, minus 200, minus 220, minus 230, minus 180. Doesn't matter, okay? Doesn't matter. We stay consistent putting those in, hitting that 70 to 80% range. This is where we ended up. We made 10 units per month, started with $2,500. We made $22,160. So just like that, you're able to turn a smaller amount of money into a bigger sum within 1 year while compounding your profits and doing this the correct way, rather than trying to go 12 months of betting 50-50 coin flip plays, and guess what? You won't even make it past the first 2 weeks. As always, guys, I'm Frank, Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, I'm out.